Want to live a more adventurous life? It's tough to imagine oneself living adventurously with jobs, rising costs of groceries, a mortgage, kids and activities, and so on. What if despite all of the obstacles, adventure could still be found? Microadventure, something Shane has been doing ever since I met him. It was taking me in his Toyota off-roading behind suburban communities, building trails in the backyards of friends for commuting on his dirt bike to work, or taking the boys on an overnight river paddleboard expedition in our local area. This is Alastair Humphreys. He was an adventurer, started a family, and then had to change how he did things.
I'd spent years trying to do bigger, tougher, harder than any of you could do, trying to be the best adventurer there was. So now, trying to do adventures that were smaller and ever more inclusive. From trying to do more than everyone else, I shifted to saying, you'd love to cycle around the world, but that's not going to happen.
He also coined the term microadventure.
Try this instead. You don't have much time to go do an adventure. What can you do? You can still do something. I call these little adventures micro-adventures. Everything that happens in life you can see as either an opportunity or a constraint. You can either complain about how little time you've got to do things, or you can try and squeeze in something around the margins of your life.
So how do you know what kind of adventure is worth pursuing?
Are you gonna go do wild? Really? You're gonna go hiking alone with nothing else involved? No music festival or Hello Kitty booth? Just you and nature.
I admit, it sounded weird.
Alastair says to make a list.
I think we usually do know what the right course is to be doing in life. It's just really hard to walk it, isn't it? It's much easier to just hide behind the excuses and think, oh, I wish. Why don't you write 2 lists? Write a list of all the things that you might want to do in your life. A big, exciting, positive, beautiful, fun, idealistic, ambitious list. But then more importantly, write a list of everything that's stopping you. What is it stopping you making this sort of stuff happen? This is the crucial thing, because until we can articulate and accept the barriers that are in the way, then you can't go about doing anything to make any changes.
Then get started.
The Scandinavians have got a wonderful phrase for how difficult it is to start a journey. They call it the doorstep mile.
The problem with microadventures is that although small, they often are still uncomfortable and unfamiliar, which gives a person, especially myself, an assortment of excuses to use for not pursuing them.
What is your doorstep mile? What tiny little thing can you do today? It has to be so small that there's no reason not to do it today. What tiny little thing can you do today that will set you in motion? And if you're still procrastinating on even something as small as that, then I want to finish up by sharing with you one of my favorite websites in the world. It's called deathclock.com. And Death Clock calculates for you the date of your death so that you can stick it in your diary. And if you're the sort of lazy, procrastinating person who needs a deadline to get something done, geez, there it is, my death and all days following. I'd better get on with life. There's not much long left.
Alastair saw adventure in other formats too.
This, for me, is not adventure. Man stands on hill and takes selfie of himself. This is not adventure. I've done this all my life.
Adventure to him was also the violin.
This is adventure for me. Standing up in a town square and saying, here I am, this is my best shot.
This is where I see adventure, pursuing what makes you feel curious. Sometimes that means you're sleeping on the riverbanks after paddling to your destination. Sometimes that means you're trying to paint, never having done it as an adult. This is what Julia Cameron calls an artist date, something she encourages people wishing to be more creative do every week.
An artist date is a one-time-a-week, festive, solo expedition to do something that interests you. So you do it once a week, you go by yourself, you set aside a little sacred amount of time, and you say, I'm going to go take an adventure. An artist date is essentially an adventure.
We're in the midst of a Donna's Just Want to Have Fun project. Something Shane and my boys love more than anything is to have fun. I love to get things done and work, and I'm trying to relax when it comes to my resistance to play.
Saying people will do morning pages, which is essentially assigned work. If I say, I've got something that's really hard and you have to get up early to do it, people are like, fine, we understand work, this is America. But if I say, now I want you to go play once a week, there's all sorts of resistance. We have the phrase, the play of ideas, but people don't take into account that playing is really wonderful for your creativity. but it is.
Adventure is play and play is work. The Donnas may love to have fun, but they never forget that fun is hard work. If needed, make the adventure as small as you can so that you'll have no excuses when it comes to living your life.